Hey everyone, welcome. So today we're going to talk about something that I think pretty much all of us have done, but we don't really understand why we do it. And that's that thing where you just quietly pull away from a friendship.
I mean, really think about it. Have you ever found yourself doing this? There was no big blow-up, no drama, no fight. You just stopped reaching out as much. The texts became less frequent, the plans just kind of fizzled out, and a connection that used to be really close just dissolves. And it can leave you feeling super confused, right? Maybe even a little bit guilty.
And if you've been there, you probably told yourself some kind of story about it. Maybe you thought, wow, I'm a terrible friend. Or you worried that you were rejecting them in some passive-aggressive way. But what if the real reason is something else entirely? Something happening deep inside your brain that you're not even aware of?
Well, psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called protective withdrawal, and what it really is a subconscious self-preservation move. It's not about being mean or indifferent. It's your brain literally hitting the brakes to stop you from burning out, to bring your emotional state back into balance, and to conserve your mental energy.
This right here, this reframes the whole experience. Instead of these guilt-ridden stories we tell ourselves, we can start to see what's actually going on. That thought, I'm a bad friend? No. It's I'm restoring my balance. Thinking this is rejection? Nope. It's actually this is self-preservation. The most important thing to get here is that this is your biology at work. It's not a character flaw.
Okay, so let's dig into this a little more. If this is a protective mechanism, what exactly is it protecting us from? Well, it turns out there are 3 hidden drivers that usually trigger this whole response. The first driver is something I think we've all felt at some point. It's effort imbalance. This is that sinking feeling you get when you realize, wait a minute, I'm consistently the one putting in all the work in this friendship. You're the one who's always planning, always initiating, always reaching out. And this is what that imbalance really looks like in the day-to-day. You're the one sending the first text, you're remembering the birthdays, you're always bending your schedule to make things work for them. Meanwhile, their effort feels, well, passive. They respond, but they rarely start things. And over time, your brain recognizes this as a serious energy drain and it starts to pull back just to stop the leak.
But it's not always just about being tired. The second driver is a little more subconscious, and it's fascinating. It's called information seeking. Sometimes your withdrawal isn't really a decision you make, but it's more like a subconscious experiment your brain is running to get data on how healthy the friendship really is. Your brain is basically asking this very question. By pulling back and creating a little bit of a vacuum, you get to see what happens next. Does the other person even notice? Do they reach out? Do they check in to see if you're okay? The response, or the lack of a response, gives you some really valuable information about how reciprocal the relationship actually is.
Now, this third driver is amazing because it's so positive. Sometimes we withdraw not because the friendship is failing, but because we are succeeding in our own personal growth. As you start to develop a stronger, more stable sense of who you are, your need for constant validation from other people starts to go down. I absolutely love this quote. It just nails it. It perfectly captures this idea that as your own inner confidence gets stronger, you just don't need that constant back and forth of a high-maintenance friendship to feel seen or to feel valued. Your priorities start to shift inward, and some of those relationships just naturally become less central to your life.
So when you put all these pieces together, you start to see this really powerful shift in perspective. What so often feels like guilt or like some kind of failure is actually part of a completely natural and often really healthy process of managing your energy and growing as a person.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does all this really mean? Well, protective withdrawal is not a friendship failure. It's a recalibration. It's your brain doing its job, protecting your energy. It's a sign that your own priorities are evolving. And maybe most importantly, it can be a crystal clear signal that you are growing as a person. And that is the thought I really want to leave you with. The next time you think back on a friendship that just quietly faded away, instead of seeing it as a loss or feeling guilty, just ask yourself this one question. What if that wasn't about 2 people growing apart, but about you individually growing within?